and I am Ismaila, representing JarranewsTV. With me here today is Mr. Honorable Dr. Ceesay. Greetings, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Nice to meet you.
The pleasure is mine.
Could you kindly introduce yourself to the audience?
My name is Dr. Ismaila Ceesay. I'm the Minister for Information, Media and Broadcasting Services.
Mr. Ismaila Ceesay, you've done an amazing job for the country. Now we move straight to the questions. You've been Minister of Information for the past 2 years. How do you access the ministry before and under your tenure?
Well, in terms of assessment, I think we've done quite well. We've come up with quite a few initiatives to make sure that we popularize government agenda and fulfill our role in promoting accountability and transparency, but also to ensure that we bridge the gap between the government and the public insofar as access to information is concerned. We've also come up with new frameworks, legal frameworks. Some are underway to the necessary reforms within the broadcasting sector as well. So I think we're really doing good.
That you're doing such an amazing job. What will you say have been your greatest achievement in the Ministry of Information landscape of the Gambia?
Well, I think there are many achievements, and all the achievements are equally great. I think key amongst is the initiatives we've come up with. For example, the Mansakunda initiative, where we bring sector ministers to come and interface with the public to discuss what they are doing in the sector, their achievements, their challenges, the projects, the initiatives, so that they also give chance to the public to ask them critical questions about how they run their sectors, so the public is aware of what is happening in the ministries. We also have the press conferences, monthly press conferences, where we invite MDs to also interface with the media. We also, under my leadership, we have passed the Access to Information Law and operationalized the ATI Commission as well, and also working on operationalizing the Secretariat as well. So I think these are some of the key achievements that we've done. I mean, there are many. We've provided training for our information officers. Now we ensure that we provide accurate, authentic, timely information to the public. These are our achievements under the ministry now. And we've created an environment where now, citizens have access to information. And for us, that is important.
Indeed, that's a very good credit to the nation. So also coming down, we have seen your initiatives in various platforms, like having a weekly discussion on coffee time with Peter Gomez and engaging various ministry in the town hall like Mansakunda. How successful will you say these initiatives have been for you and your ministry?
Well, it's not for me and the ministry. These initiatives are not designed for the ministry or for me. I'm not important. The people, the public is who is important. The citizens, the taxpayers. Citizens who voted and gave the president, His Excellency, the mandate to govern and transform this country. And the president has made a commitment to ensure access to information, to promote transparency and accountability. So I think for us, all these initiatives, all these radio programs on GRTS that we do on Thursdays, on the Good Morning Show on GRTS on Mondays, on Pedagogics on Tuesdays, is the citizen. The citizens are the heart of all these initiatives. It's for them to access information. And I think for us, it's for the citizens now to do that assessment to see whether now they are getting access to information as they should be.
Coming down, also being the Minister of Information, are you sending information to various regions that anywhere you are, people can have access to accurate information, whereby they can say, okay, these are facts we have come across that the minister have said, and according to them, the sources are being rightfully delivered?
Yes, of course. In fact, the radio is a powerful tool. And no matter where you are in this country, you have access to radio. We've also contracted or engaged what we call strategic communication consultants, whose role is to also take information and disseminate it using various platforms like WhatsApp groups, TikTok, you name it. So our position is to ensure every Gambian, no matter where you are in this country, no matter what religion you belong to, no matter your age, no matter your disability or ability, you have access to information because this is a constitutional right. But the most important thing also is that we also want to position the sector, the ministry, and its line agencies as the go-to place when it comes to accurate and authentic information. And that is what we are doing now.
Also, what initiatives are the ministry implementing to fight misinformation and promote fact-based information, especially among the youth? Because usually we have seen that there are there are times where informations are being delivered and they are not facts. People can use it according to people to tarnish their image. What will you say about that?
Well, we are using multiple approaches. We know it's a challenge. Misinformation, disinformation is a challenge. It's not something new, it's perennial. It's been around for ages. What has changed though is the speed at which now, information reaches to the public with the advent of information technologies. So it's a huge challenge, even for the most advanced, sophisticated countries. The spread of disinformation and misinformation is a challenge. What we are doing at the ministry is that we recently launched an initiative, a campaign to counter disinformation and misinformation. And we went around the country, had discussions in different banter parts around the country, discussing with the population about how they should identify misinformation and also how to counter it. We're also working on, with support from ECOWAS, on what we call the Misinformation and Disinformation Response Center. We'll use AI to counter disinformation through fact-checking, working with different media houses and different broadcasting services. So we are working towards that. But I think also another thing which is important to counter misinformation is to always give accurate information. For example, they say that truth is the best way to counter falsehood. So also for us also, how to counter disinformation is always make sure that we position ourselves as a ministry, always give factual information, so that when the public hears about something, they'll say, okay, we haven't heard it from the ministry, so we are waiting. Because if it doesn't come from the ministry, then it is not factual information. That is what we want to position ourselves.
Now, being the Minister of Information, what are the consequences that can be attached to when a person gives information that is not accurate by a particular individual to be held accountable? What is the ministry doing about that?
Well, the ministry cannot do much about that. I think this has to do with the laws of this country. I'm not sure of any law. There's a law, obviously, which says giving information to provide false information. These are some of the media laws. But the most important thing is that the ministry cannot police that information. It depends also on the grade and the level of that information. It depends also on how damaging that information is. We have still laws in this country called defamation. If somebody goes and says something about you which is false, you as a citizen can take that person to court. That is not for the ministry to do. So the laws are there, and the laws are not only for the ministry. The laws are there to serve the general public and to serve the nation. So if somebody goes out and makes defamatory remarks against you, which you know to be false, it's for you now to take that matter up to the court.
To hold the guy against, it can hold the person accountable for giving you a defamation of character.
Yeah, you as a citizen, you can take the matter to court, and the court will decide.
Okay, how is your relation between your ministry and the media houses?
Oh, very good, very good. They are friends. They come to our events. We organize press conferences with them. They come whenever we have opportunities like training, capacity building. We always engage them and we give it to them. So they share our press releases, they share our information. I think the ministry cannot function basically without the media, because we cannot go to every part of this country to give the citizens information. The media plays a very critical role as conduits of disseminating information for us on our behalf. So they are very good friends of ours.
Also, how can journalists be empowered to evaluate information critically and spot misinformation in the digital landscape?
Well, it's to build their capacity and to make them competent. That is why, as a ministry, one of our objectives is to train journalists, is to provide opportunities for journalists to be trained, to build their capacities, to be competent, ethical, and to be professional. It's important. For example, I'll give an example today. Information sector is one of the most critical sectors in the country, equally important as any other sector. Now, when you feed false information to the public, this can destroy the peace of this country. Now, when you have a health sector, healthcare workers are supposed to be trained and competent to provide healthcare services. In the teaching sector, teachers are supposed to be competent and well-trained to provide teaching services. So the same thing should apply and must apply to the information sector. The people who are supposed to give information or receive and analyze and disseminate information must be competent, professional, and ethical. And they can only be that through proper training. That is, so as a minister and as a ministry, our aim is to build a critical journalist corps so that all journalists who practice in this country are trained and competent and ethical and professional.
What role do the ministry play in promoting media and digital literacy among youth?
Well, digital literacy, that's not our mandate. That is for digital economy. That is part of their mandate. So I think that question should be referred to the Ministry of Digital Economy. For us, our mandate is to do with media and broadcasting services and information dissemination and branding of government. So for digital literacy, that is for digital economy to do.
Also coming down to that, what strategy do the ministry have to ensure information reaches rural areas, and how can young people be involved in this outreach?
Well, information depends. I mean, generally we use the media, like I said, radios, community radios. We have an MOU with community associations of community radios to make sure that all our information is disseminated through community radios. We also understand Gambians have changed habits in terms of get access to information. Not everybody now watches TV or listens to radio. Everybody's online now. That is why our strategic consultants use WhatsApp groups to disseminate information as well. So we just want to ensure, and in different languages as well, because we realize that not all Gambians read and understand English language. If you have all the information in English, it means you are disadvantaging a huge chunk of the population. That is why most of our press conferences and our messages are translated into the local language and shared as widely as possible, so that everybody, no matter where you are, from Bolibana to Katong to Bijilo to Banjul, you can access information.
What are some of the major challenges misinformation poses to a nation, its development, and how can you give example of some of the misinformations that have affected our country?
Well, I can't give specific information, disinformation examples. What I can tell you is that it is bad. It has serious negative consequences for the peace and stability of a country. It can destroy the social fabric of any society. We should not take it lightly. It's very serious. We've seen countries that have been destroyed because of disinformation and misinformation, like Rwanda in 1994. One of the things that fueled genocide was disinformation, making the public believe about something that did not exist. So we are very aware of the challenges. We have AI now being used to generate content which can be fake and harmful. We have also the issue of harmful content as well. So definitely it is bad, and I think every citizen must fight against the spread of disinformation or misinformation, because it can destroy the social fabric of our society. It can also undermine our peace and stability.
In the atmosphere of privacy, disinformation and misinformation thrives. How are you working with various ministries to enhance transparency, thereby feeding the public with accurate and factual information?
Well, we always engage the other sectors. One of the things is the Mansakon, we bring them to come and discuss what they are doing, but also we write to them whenever we need information. We write to the sectors to say, hey, can you give us information on this? DOIS, Department of Information Service, our operational arm, we did deploy information officers to each ministry, and these information officers are there to also provide information to us that we can disseminate, but also they also at their level disseminate information to the public. So that is how we collaborate with other ministries.
As the countries approach the 2026 election, what is the government, especially your ministry, doing to ensure a peaceful and a credible electoral process?
Well, it's to make sure that we continue doing what we are doing, promote transparency and accountability. This in turn will have a very positive effect on the promotion of democratic principles in this country. But also to make sure we talk to the public, sensitize them, make sure that they get access to information, and let citizens know their rights, but also their responsibilities. I think when we do that, citizens will understand that democracy is about choice, and if it's time to vote, you go peacefully, you vote, and you wait for the outcome.
Then how will you go about sensitizing citizens? Is it on radio platforms?
Well, that's not our job, basically. It's not our mandate to sensitize citizens on election issues. That is the job of the how do you call them again? Civic education. There's a civic education directorate which is responsible for that. So that is their mandate. So I think government, everybody has a mandate. Our role is not to go and sensitize on election issues, because then there will be conflict of interest. We are government. We cannot engage in those things. What we do is to make sure citizens get access to information that is public information that we can do, and that is what we are doing.
What message will you like to convey to Gambian people, particularly the youth, about the government's vision and plan for the country's development, and how can they contribute to these effects?
It's very simple. The government is doing three things, and all these three things are I's.
First, including
infrastructure. We are engaging in massive infrastructural development to build the foundations for development, building roads, over 1,000 kilometers of roads. We are building hospitals and healthcare centers. We are building universities and higher education institutions. We are building vocational training centers to build the capacity of Gambians. We are building the energy infrastructure to make sure that our target of 100% getting access to electricity by 2025 is achieved. We are supporting farmers as well. So we are doing a lot of stuff, a lot of things. We are building our defense infrastructure. We are building our sports infrastructure. That is the infrastructure. We're also building institutions, strengthening the processes and oversight institutions that promote transparency and democracy. But also we are also building the legal instruments. Legal instruments are the laws and legal frameworks that will support our reform process. So we are doing all these things, and I think for young people, it's for them to believe in themselves, love their country, be patriotic, and work hard, and make sure that whatever you do, you are engaged in something, and understand that the country's main as a critical asset is peace, and that peace must be preserved by each and every citizen, particularly the young people.
Okay, we have come to the climax of this marathon interview. Dr. Ceesay, what else would you like to say that I have not asked you?
Well, I think you've asked all the questions. I mean, 14 questions is a lot. We've touched on everything that falls within the purview of this ministry. Just to thank you and to encourage young people like you. This is a passion for you. That is why you became a journalist. Is to encourage you and wish you a very successful career in journalism.
Thank you. So, what will be your last motivation to the Gambian youth?
To believe in themselves, that the country is theirs. The President, His Excellency, is very passionate about issues that affect young people. And everything he does and he says is for the young people. He's building this country for the next generation, so that when the young people come, they can live a dignified life. And all the policies and programs and initiatives taken up by this government is to make sure that each and every Gambian, particularly the young people, fulfill their full potential, so that they can also thrive in this country. That is what we are doing. We believe that the power of youth will transform this country. So the youth must also believe in themselves and love their country, but also work hard and disciplined and respect the laws and respect their parents. And that is my message.
Thank you once again. Alright, viewers, you're watching live from JarranewsTV. And today our guest is none other than Dr. Ceesay, and it's a pleasure meeting him once again. And do not forget to like, subscribe, and follow our page. Once again, I am Isatu Conte.
Thank you, Esther.